2024 NFL season. I am continuing my preview tour. We are on the last stop in the NFC North, and that is the Chicago Bears. The Bears were something of an enigma in that first 2023 season. They struggled at the outset. Justin Fields was injured for a bit with injury, but when he returned, they kind of pulled it together. They moved to 7-10. They looked like they were making progress, but they still finished fourth in the NFC North. And thanks to a trade with the Panthers, they had the number one overall pick. So they decided to blow it up a little bit and make some big changes. That meant this offseason they added some weapons. They added DeAndre Swift in the backfield. They added Keenan Allen via trade from the Los Angeles Chargers. He had 904 receptions for 10,530 yards and 59 touchdowns in his time there. They bid farewell to Justin Fields, who's now in Pittsburgh. They saw Darnell Mooney leave, who is now in Atlanta. But, the draft is where they really made some hay. They used the number one overall pick on former USC quarterback Caleb Williams, who is now the man for this franchise. He threw for 8,170 yards and 72 touchdowns in the last 2 years for USC. They also used the number 9 pick to get him another weapon, grabbing receiver Rome Odunze. He caught 214 passes for 3,272 yards and 24 touchdowns in his time at the University of Washington. He figures to be a weapon as well. So what about fantasy? Well, the Bears have an embarrassment of riches on offense. Williams is the unquestioned starter behind him. They only have Tyson Bagent and Brett Rippon. So Williams going to be the guy from day one. I like him as a QB2 this season. I think he will have to take some lumps as a rookie. I like him as a top-end QB2, but I think there will be a few growing pains still for the Bears, especially with new offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, who likes to run based on his time with Seattle. In the backfield, he has Swift, he has Khalil Herbert, he has Rashawn Johnson. I think there's going to be a split at times, but Swift is the one I like the best. I like him as a running back too. The others, it's a little bit of a question. Some lean Herbert, some lean Johnson. I'm leaning more toward Johnson. I think both could have both flex value. Herbert in a contract year, I think they may be seeing Johnson as more of a long-term fit. The biggest question, though, is what about the passing game? Well, the Bears now are loaded. They have two receivers who finished in the top 10 last year. The first is DJ Moore, their own receiver, who finished wide receiver 6, got a huge extension just a few days ago. Keenan Allen was wide receiver 8 for the Chargers. I don't think either finished quite as high in 2024 because, again, there are just a lot of players in the mix. They also have Odunze and tight end Cole Kmet. Kmet was actually tight end 8 in 2023. But, that's a little deceptive. He was buoyed by some really huge games. And I think he's going to be a 4th or 5th option in this passing game. He's more of a tight end 2 for me. I actually think what Waldron did as offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks last year is a little bit of a template. He had 3 receivers there, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, the veterans, Lockett, the older veteran, and a young receiver in Jackson Smith and Jigba. We kind of saw where those receivers played out. I like that as a good template here. I think Moore is a wide receiver 2. I like him finishing as a high-end wide receiver 2. But I think Allen and Odunze are going to split some targets and split some action. I wouldn't be surprised if Odunze starts to take more of a role later in the season, growing through that rookie year. But I have Allen as a wide receiver 3 and Rome Odunze as a wide receiver 4. I think there's just going to be a lot of fantasy interest in the Bears. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in the Bears in general. So how do I feel about them? Well, they were 7-10 last year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a nominal step forward, even with all the changes and with Caleb Williams being a rookie. I like this team. They have some talent on defense. They have some great talent on offense, but it's still going to be a little bit of a learning curve. I like the Lions and the Packers better in the North. But I would not be shocked if the Bears won 9 games. They could even be a 10-game winner. I also wouldn't be shocked if they won 7 or 8 games. But I like them to finish just above 500 and just out of the playoffs this year, taking another step forward and looking at a pretty bright future with a good set of players as they move forward.